is this new product I am selling. Would you be interested?
What product?
Mind your business. It works wonders and it is good for human consumption.
Lucy is a cow. Okay, I've had enough for the day.
You bought a cow in Nairobi and you are all living in rentals.
Today you look very different and bombastic. Connie, are you going for an interview?
I learned indeed and I passed with flying colors.
Oh, here we go again. Can't you guys keep private? This was private. You are just tap to anyone you think would listen.
Kapisa unanikana mimi sikujui wewe na unijui. Nimekusahau.
What the hell is this?
What the?
Chani, unafanya nini? Wachana na yeye. Wachana na yeye.
Of course you lied to me.
Oh my goodness.
This week on Tech, March is in store for you.
And I'm told people pay 70,000-80,000 to join to mine.
So you need to be careful that Bitcoin and mining does not work like that.
On our tech news this week,
the new plan is also available for $249.99 per year, savings of 17% compared to monthly payments.
Get to know about the robot vacuum cleaner in our tech of the week.
Meet the new Roomba 7 Plus, a robotic vacuum, which is the next generation of
Happens this Sunday and every other Sunday at 4:20 p.m. for this exciting show only on KBC Channel 1.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya jitume mwenyewe kwa simu yako, bonyeza *811 *963#.
Unavyojikakamua kupata ufanisi, ndivyo utakavyofurahi baada ya kufanikiwa. Usisubiri kusukumwa na mtu, jitume mwenyewe.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii, bonyeza *811 *963#, *811 *963#.
Live from the broadcasting house, here is KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Njue and Anwangeshi will be assisting us with the sign language interpretation. You can be part of this conversation and broadcast via all our social media platforms. Straight to the news, Kenya on Saturday morning received 200,000 Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine doses from China. Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache assuring Kenyans that Sinopharm vaccine was safe, of high quality, and has also been approved by the World Health Organization. This is part of efforts to boost COVID-19 vaccine uptake in the country.
The consignment of 200,000 Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine doses arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on Saturday morning on board Qatar Airways. Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache was here to receive the consignment. The PA is calling on Kenyans to take the opportunity and get vaccinated assuring Kenyans the Sinopharm vaccines are safe.
I'm sure that there are a lot of questions regarding this vaccine. Let me state from the very onset and assure you and assure every Kenyan that the Sinopharm vaccine is a safe vaccine, as I said, approved by WHO. It is a 2-dose vaccine, so you have to take 2 vaccines within a gap of 28 days.
Mochache say that the ministry had put all the arrangements in place to ensure that the vaccines are handled and administered in line with the stringent guidelines.
Our healthcare workers, all those people that are administering the vaccines, have already been very well trained on the administration of this particular Sinopharm vaccine, as is the case with all the other vaccines that we have received so far.
Virus respects no borders. Nobody is safe until everybody is safe. Only through solidarity and cooperation can we prevail.
The LPS called on Kenyans to register information in the Chanjo portal for planning purposes and data accuracy. This is now the 5th type of vaccine received in the country. Others are AstraZeneca, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer.
Now, police in Athi River are investigating the murder of a Chinese national who died on Friday night following an alleged attack by a group of thugs who raided his home in Greyland Estate. The deceased, who was living with his 2 other colleagues, died shortly after arriving at Shalom Community Hospital, where he had been rushed for treatment. According to Athi River Deputy County Commissioner Charles Wambugu, the other 2, a man and a woman, are recuperating at the facility. Purity Musel reports.
At the Greyland Estate in Athi River, detectives comb the murder victim's home in a bid to reconstruct the crime scene and collect more evidence. From afar, the officers are seen documenting and carrying samples to their vehicles. The victim, a Chinese national, was killed on Friday morning after a gang raided his house, where he lived with 2 other colleagues.
Yesterday at night at around 2 to 3 a.m. This premise was invaded by 5 to 7 armed criminals who were armed with crude weapons, pangas, metal bars, and such things. After entry, they proceeded to the guard room, where they found the watchman, tied him, and then proceeded to warehouses 7 and 8.
Athi River Deputy County Commissioner Charles Wambugu assures that no stone will be left unturned until the killers are found.
There's some leads which we are following, and we expect very soon to arrest the culprits who did this crime.
Police are yet to arrest any suspect. His 2 other colleagues are recuperating at the Shalom Community Hospital. Purity Museo, Lunchtime News.
And moving on, contractors in charge of building the bridge across River Nzoia have been directed to complete the project in the next 6 months. Nyanza Regional Coordinator Magu Mutindika said construction of the bridge structure should be done by mid-December this year to pave way for the tarmacking of the road.
Nyanza Regional Coordinator Magu Mutindika noted delay to finish construction of River Nzoia Bridge has on several occasions led to transport interruptions along the highway that connects Ugunja and Ugenya sub-counties.
We will not allow any more delays on this project because the project was due to be complete in June, and we are not getting the bridge ready for the residents, because you can see, as you have seen, there's a lot of inconveniences, especially on the side of transport. Some bigger vehicles cannot pass through here. They have to use the other side. So I expect by March, this bridge will be ready for use, and I think any time from that, the bridge will be commissioned by His Excellency the President.
Mutindika called on the contractors, consultants and the local administration to work together and deliver the project within newly revised time frame.
When the grinders have been laid, the covert, who is the main contractor, is supposed to come and put the deck. The deck is the tarmac, so that by March we are ready to use the road.
Through the Kenya Devolution Support Program, commissioned Jackson Aramandago, EGH.
Elsewhere, Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago has commissioned the Saina Kapseret Bridge in Kapseret Sub-County and Kaprorio Subgoek Bridge in Moiben Sub-County to ensure farmers across the region get quick markets for their products and increase road linkages to enable farmers to get their produce to the markets when they are still fresh.
To enable our farmers access the markets in Eldoret, and in the future enable our farmers to deliver their fresh produce to Eldoret International Airport, which is just across here.
The residents applauded the efforts made in constructing the two bridges as they will ease transportation in the region.
Kama mimi nimefurahia, chumi niko na mboga. Napenda mboga hapa, saa hata kupitisha mboga ngambo ile ndio hii taraja imetusaidia sana.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Jelis Aladi.
Now, a family in Juja, Kiambu County is appealing to well-wishers to help them raise 1.5 million shillings to enable their 22-year-old daughter undergo a heart transplant in India. Lorian Wangoi is suffering from a congenital heart disease and requires to have an urgent surgical replacement of the pulmonary arterial homograft to save her life. Lorraine Wangoi may seem like a normal lady until you take a closer look at her.
Lorraine was born with a cleft lip and parrot. Na wakati alienda kuangaliwa kama anaweza kuwa na shida ingine, akapatikana ako na shida ya moyo. So that was through the cardiologist. So she had to undergo the first surgery at 6 months. It was diagnosed as 4 months.
She is suffering from truncus arteriosus, a heart condition that requires urgent surgical operation. Lorraine's condition makes her have difficulty in breathing and sometimes she cannot walk.
The repair that was done was supposed to be repeated again because the piece that was put ilionekana inatakikana kuchenjiwa after some time. Juu inakuwa na kitu wanasemanga inaitwa calcium. So the tube becomes narrow.
I've had 2 open heart surgeries, and I'd wish for the well-wishers to help us raise the funds for me to get back on my feet. I'm supposed to raise 1.5 million Kenya shillings. I've had such challenges such as walking, difficulty in breathing, and just so many more activities.
The family has made numerous trips to hospitals seeking treatment and is now seeking help from well-wishers for her to undergo an urgent heart transplant in India to rectify the disorder.
We are trusting God that will make to the surgery room.
Wangoi's mother, Agnes Njambi, has no source of income and the current coronavirus pandemic has made matters worse.
Our appeal is for the funds that we have not been able to raise up to now. And we are asking for well-wishers, those who can be able to help in whichever way, through finances, through your prayers, and we shall appreciate it for Lorraine to be back on her feet again.
Wangoi's family finances have been heavily strained by medical bills.
When Lorraine is in this condition, this leaves me grounded because I cannot leave her alone in the house. I cannot make any move. I cannot go even try to make ends meet anywhere.
Donations can be channeled through M-Pesa paybill number 8042525. Account number is the contributor's name. Or Equity Bank account number 034-019-253-7974. Let's chip in and assist Lorraine in any way that we can help. From Juja, we now head over to Malava in Kakamega County, where the Deputy President William Ruto is currently addressing residents there after having a church congregation. Let's first of all listen in.
Kiongozi wetu Chief Whip Emeritus Mheshimiwa Benjamin Jomo Washali wa kutoka Mumias East. Tuko hapa na bull fighter Boni Khalwale. Niko hapa na Mama Khadija Nganyi anayetafuta mambo ya county ya kina mama ya Bungoma ya Kakamega hapa. Niko hapa na kijana Kevin. So, mnajua huyu Kevin, yeye ni MCA wa hapa. Asante sana.
They're addressing his congregants on the entourage that, among others, are former leaders in Kakamega and the larger western region. We will be getting back to that when the DP starts to address the congregants. Well, moving on, Public Torch Group, a youth, from that story already, but we will be getting back with that story when we come back. Let's first of all take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be telling you all about more news, and including the sports that are taking place currently at the Kasarani Stadium.
Unanikana mimi sikujui wewe na unijui. Nimekusahau.
What the hell is this?
What the?
Chani, unafanya nini? Wachana na yeye. Wachana na yeye.
Of course you lied to me. Oh my goodness.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC Lunchtime News. Moving on, Public Torch Group, a youth lobby group, has called on politicians to embrace the spirit of political tolerance as the country heads to the 2022 general election. The group urging the political class to sell their manifestos without violating other people's democratic rights. The group at the same time called on the youth to be wary of politicians out to use them for selfish gains. They also condemned yesterday's happenings in Migori County, where a meeting organized by ODM presidential aspirant Jimmy Wanjigi was disrupted by rowdy youths. The same message coming from Bungela Mwananchi, which said in case of a political disturbance, it is the women and children who suffer the most.
any aspirant from any party to be free in this nation to walk anywhere without any chills, without any fear, without any caution, because this is our nation and it is the Kenyans that will decide whom they are going to elect.
Mtu yoyote anagombea kiti ya rais amekaribishwa Nyanza, akuje Siaya, akuje Kisumu, akuje Homa Bay, akuje Migori. Hatutaki tuone kitu kama hii tena. Whether hata kama yuko mtu alituma hao wa vijana akomeshe kabisa, hatutakubali.
Vijana muache kutumika na msikubali kutumika, kwa sababu vita ambayo mmeanzisha, watu wataumia sana ni mama zenyu, watu wataumia sana ni dada zenyu, na watu ambao wataumia zaidi ni watoto.
Let's now go back to Malava in Kakamega County, where the Deputy President William Ruto is currently addressing residents from Malava. Let's listen in.
Sema tunataka mwaka ujao isiwe ni mwaka wa kuongelea mambo ya viongozi na vyeo pamoja na mamlaka. Mwaka ujao tunataka kuanza chini. Mahali yule ambaye hana kazi tumshughulikie kwanza. Yule ambaye biashara yake ni ndogo tumshughulikie kwanza. Yule mkulima wa chini tumshughulikie kwanza, kabla hatujaongea mambo ya viongozi na vyeo na mamlaka. Mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa Holy Spirit hapa na watu wa Kakamega. Mnataka tuendelee kuongea mambo ya viongozi na vyeo na mamlaka? Situanze pale chini kwa mahasla. Yule ambaye hana kazi kwanza tumtafutie kazi, na yule biashara yake ni ndogo, mama mboga na wale wa bodaboda tuwashughulikie kwanza, biashara zao ziinuke. Alafu yule mkulima anahangaika huko tumtafutie mbegu na mbolea na soko, pesa aweke kwa mfuko kwanza. Hapo ndio tunasema siasa ya Kenya lazima tuibadilishe, iambatane na ile neno la Mungu inasema ya kwamba Mungu atawainua wale wanyonge kutoka mavumbini na waketi pamoja na wafalme. Hii taifa letu tunataka wale wadogo, wale hawana kazi, wale wafanyabiashara wadogo, wale wakulima wadogo wawe pamoja na Wakenya wengine, ndio tuwe na taifa ambayo mtu hajawachwa nyuma. Watu wa Kakamega, ulialala uli pamoja, tutatembea pamoja. Mimi sitaki kusema kuzidi hapo, nataka niseme asanteni sana na watakia baraka ya Mungu. Mambo mengine tutaongea kule mbele.
That is Deputy President William Ruto there at the Africa Church of Holy Spirit, where he is talking about an all-inclusive government, if at all he acquires power in the year 2022. Remember, ODM leader Raila Odinga is at the coast for a series of meetings, and we will be keeping you updated on the latest happening from Kakamega and also from Mombasa. But moving on, human rights organization Amnesty International and the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union want the government to urgently introduce a supplementary budget of 10 billion shillings to purchase and distribute the COVID-19 vaccine to the entire adult population by the year January 2022. During a national health conference held in Nairobi, health stakeholders called on the government to ensure equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines and ensure treatment is free in government hospitals to avoid the risk of further infection as the country draws close to the general election.
With only 3.1% of country's total population fully immunized against the COVID-19 disease, stakeholders in the health sector have raised concerns over the distribution of vaccines in the country.
The biggest threat to the return to public health and the right to health is vaccine inequities, whether it be global vaccine apartheid, the reality that the rich nations have hoarded 70% or a large percentage of the world's vaccines and left very few for those of us in the global south, or it is within Kenya where we are seeing, for example, a high concentration of vaccination in Nairobi, but much less in the rest of the counties. This inequity is probably the most dangerous thing that we must confront at this point.
During a national health conference held in Nairobi, human rights organization Amnesty International and the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union called for more distribution of the COVID-19 vaccines across the country to avoid the risk of further infection.
The people that we expect to have information about the vaccine have not been adequately trained, have not been given adequate information to dispel some of the myths that are going around concerning this vaccine.
The stakeholders also called on the government to urgently fund local research and pharmaceutical companies to manufacture not only the COVID-19 vaccine, but also other vaccines necessary for disease prevention.
Whether they have the equipment, the human resource that is required, whether they have the commodities, is another subject altogether, which they are not really focusing on.
Stakeholders further called on the national government through the Treasury to take steps to ensure at least 15% of the national budget is allocated to health.
Our position has always been that health care is a fundamental right for every Kenyan. That means that every Kenyan should be able to access affordable and quality health care, especially from public health facilities.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, members of the National Government Constituencies Development Funds are now advocating for prudent utilization of NG-CDF funds to ensure that Kenyans get value for their money. Led by Matuga MP Tandaza Sawa, the legislators said that while NG-CDF budgetary allocation remains small, the kitty has made strides in development of school and security infrastructure across the country. The MP said a bill has been introduced in Parliament to have the law setting up the fund change so that NG-CDF is calculated at 5% of all the national government's share of the revenue. Currently, the Treasury allocates 2.5% of the national budget to the NG-CDF for the 290 constituencies in the country.
Tukapata hapa ndio maendeleo imefanyika ya maana.
Tupatie wananchi ile value for money. Na ukitembea nchi nzima, ukweli ni kwamba miradi ya CDF inaonekana. Tunajua kuna county government wana hela zao na wanafanya kazi zao, lakini kila mahali unapotembea nchi nzima, hata ijapokuwa kuna changamoto, lakini miradi ya CDF inaonekana.
For the 4 years, we've managed to do over 80 projects, CDF complete projects. So it's my hope by the end of my term, the first term, that we'll be able to have covered almost all the primary schools.
Kumbuka kuna kesi kotini ilikuwa inasema CDF ifungwe ndio iende county because it's devolved. Lakini president wetu kwa hekima yake akatafuta njia akaitetea, because without NCDF hii project haingeonekana hapa. Tumekuwa na independence for more than 50 years.
Thank you. Residents of Burat Ward in Isiolo County have formally submitted a memorandum of historical land injustices to the National Land Commission ahead of the 21st September deadline. The residents claim that the people of Burat Ward have suffered land-related injustices since colonial times. According to the locals, they are not allowed to carry out any activities in the expansive land, including farming and grazing their livestock even today.
Na ombi letu ni National Land Commission na County Government sasa ni partner yao waweze kufanya process hiyo haraka, kwa sababu tumekaa mwaka mingi tukinyanyaswa na bonyenye wakiingia kila kona.
Tumejifrontier kufanya kazi ya community land registration ama historical injustice land, kwa sababu jamii ya Borat imenyanyasika kwa muda mrefu sana. Nimekuja hapa ili tuweze kujulikana ya kwamba jamii ya Borat imenyanyasika, na saa hii tumeleta hii petition iweze kuenda National Land Commission, waweze kuja ground na waweze kuona ni nini inaendelea Borat.
Wakati inayoyoma zaidi, 21st is the deadline, so we ask anybody who feel wako na claim wa present.
Where residents of KATHIANI area of KATHIANI constituency in Machakos County took to the streets to protest the poor road network in the area. The residents in particular cite the KATHIANI road connecting KATHIANI to Mitamboni, which they claim is in a deplorable state. The irate residents blocked the busy Machakos Kitui road and lit bonfires as they lamented the increased cases of road accidents along the KATHIANI Mitamboni road off the main Kitui road. The residents accused the contractor of doing a shoddy job, even as they decried the slow pace at which the road was being done.
Sasa shida yenye tuko nayo ile tumefunga njia ni hii barabara kutoka Idhaene to KATHIANI. Barabara yenyewe ni mbaya kabisa. Sisi kama watu wa bodaboda hatuwezi pitia hapo. Ukipita hapo unaangusha bodaboda, unaambisha watu.
Mara tumekuwa tukienda kupeana pole kwa watu wetu ambao wameumia. Na wamekufa wengine. Wamama wamekuwa watu wa kuangushwa kwa barabara. So ile kitu tunaomba kama Nyoro aweki lami kwa barabara aende.
Shida hiyo barabara ilianzwa miaka 6 iliyopita. And that road has taken, since I was elected, it's the first project I lobbied for. Na ikaanza kuwekwa lami. Sasa nakuja kumaliza my second term, bado inawekwa lami.
The same script duplicated in Kericho County as residents held protest over impassable roads in Kapsusa Ward, Belgut Sub-County.
Tunaomba Maram, anasema Maram wanakuja kuchimba barabara inachimbwa kidogo, mpaka nyasi na mea. Alafu nyasi ikimea tena anakuja tena kuchimba tena barabara. Sasa tumeshindwa, hii barabara imechimbwa mara 4. Na hakuna Maram.
Tutuwekee Maram pande hii kwenda hivi mpaka kwa shule. Watoto wanateseka sana. Wanaingia kwa maji. Kama leo imenyesha asubuhi. So wameumia.
The residents cite SBI, Masarian, Mosombo, Kapnandet Road, which they claim has been left incomplete. Away from that, some 400 girls from Kimilili in Bungoma County have benefited from free sanitary towels courtesy of AMREF Kenya. The move will see more girls stay in school throughout the school calendar. Speaking during the launch of the drive, Kimilili Sub-County Deputy County Commissioner Tom Tarus called for the need to support the girl child throughout their education. Bungoma CEC for Gender, on her part, called for a multi-sectoral approach to addressing the rising cases of teenage pregnancies in the area.
That's the reason why they chose to have this function here. When we talk about gender-based violence, let us not talk about maneno the other females only. Hata wanaume wamesafa sana. We have had cases of men, hata wewe ukiumizwa unavumilia tu, but I can tell you we have cases of men who are undergoing serious gender-based violence.
Wasichana wetu 3948 wa umri wa miaka 10 hadi 19 walipata ujauzito, na hawa ni watoto ambao wanastahili kuwa shule. Kati yao 142 walikuwa kati ya umri wa miaka 10 na miaka 14. 10 years walking into maternity, anakuja kuzaa. Watoto pia wana jukumu. Wewe
kama mtoto tuliambiwa hapa uko na rights zako. Usikubali vitu vya bure. Usikubali vitu vya bure. Usikubali kutembea usiku.
And residents of Surugoi area in Laikipia County now want to be allowed access to the disputed ADC MUTARA land in Rumuruti town. The residents, most of whom are pastoralists, are calling on the National Assembly to investigate the circumstance under which a section of the 64,000-acre farm, which is owned by Agricultural Development Corporation, was leased to powerful individuals in the country in the year 2015. The community says leasing the farm that is located near Rumuruti town is unlawful and insensitive to their status as marginalized group. They further decry alleged harassment, forced arrest and malicious prosecution by police guarding the farm.
Shamba ADC si tunaelewa ni shamba ya serikali. Na kuna mabwenyenye wameitwa all the way, kuna wenye wametoka Somali wakuja kukondesha, na sisi majirani tuko hapa, tumekuwa na hawa since for the last 38 years. Kuna wadosi wanakuja kuchukua shamba, na shamba ni ya serikali. Na shamba ya ADC sisi tunaelewa kama inakondeshwa, inaenda bunge, inadiskasiwa, inakuwa approved ya kwamba tumekubali ikombolewe. Kuna mabwenyenye wanapita milango ya nyuma, wanakuja kuchukua shamba kuondesha.
Tunakaa kwa hii shamba ya ADC, ikuwa sisi jirani ADC na kuondesha. Alafu mara mwisho mwaka 2016 tumeanza kuona maneno ya mwenyenye alikuja kuingia shamba ya ADC, na sisi ni shamba ya ADC ni shamba ya serikali. Alafu wakati naingia akaanza kusukuma sisi nje, wale jirani naishi pamoja.
In sports, Alan St. Maximin's fine equalizer lifted the pressure on Newcastle boss Steve Bruce as his side earned a point against Leeds. The 1-1 draw result at St. James Park left both sides still searching for their first win of the season and at the wrong end of the table.
Two teams still in search of their first Premier League win of the season, so Leeds United will be hoping to repeat their success enjoyed here in the last campaign. He waited and waited and waited, and then he picked his spot, and it's 1-1.
Wolves will host Brentford in the Premier League's early kick-off encounter at the Molly